People ask, where are the tiaras, Charles? The Princess of Wales in a flower wreath, a mother and sister in her old hats, and Princess Anne in a cap, and no tiaras. The coronation ceremony is a very traditional act, full of sacred symbols and meanings. A sacrament which is a great honor to be present. And of course it's a kind of show and demonstration of power, authority, wealth, and status. Invitations to the coronation ceremony are reserved for a selected few, representatives of the most powerful families in the kingdom, royal families from other countries, politicians and people who have distinguished themselves before the nation. And such an event has a certain protocol concerning dress. In Britain, court costume was adopted for the aristocrats attending the event. Women wore white gowns with red velvet top dresses, a train and obligatory tiaras and coronets. For the men, a uniform, gown and coronet. Depending on fashion, these court dresses changed, but the red and white colors, gowns and coronet remained unchanged. The coronet is a little crown, an earl, ducal or baronial crown on a velvet scarlet base. When the words "God Save the King" are uttered at the climax, those present wear their coronets. It is a beautiful and solemn act. For his coronation, Charles III decided to forego the ceremonial court attire for members of the aristocracy. It's a pity, of course. The ladies and gentlemen in scarlet attire would have looked very solemn. But it's even more unfortunate that we didn't see the family tiaras on the beautiful ladies. Let's explore why. Economy? The coronation of Charles III was being prepared on a tight schedule, and the king stipulated that costs should be cut and the ceremony itself trimmed. He's understandable. The man is no longer a young man. The royal robes are very heavy and not at all comfortable. The imperial state crown alone weighs about 2 kilos. During the broadcast of the coronation, it was noticeable that at the first opportunity it was removed from the heads of Charles I and Camilla. They stepped out in these magnificent royal headdresses from Westminster Abbey and were then in them on the balcony of Buckingham Palace. I assume it was decided to exempt guests from using coronets so that it wouldn't look odd, in contrast that the monarch would be taking off the crown. Besides, tiaras aren't very comfortable for many hours either, and the coronation lasts 3 hours on air, and it's unknown how many hours the lovely ladies get dressed and when they can undress. You can see how tight the seating is. There is no room for plumes, and the countesses, duchesses, earls, marquesses and barons have to be accompanied by someone. It takes space and time to lay them, sit them down and so on. And the timing tended to shorten. Plus, still today's aristocracy is not as adept at handling plumes as their ancestors. There are far fewer opportunities to train. Times are changing and some traditions are becoming a theme of the past. Even more, behind the high tiara hairstyles in the photographs you may not be able to see those sitting behind them. And while Princess Anne was clearly sitting directly in front of Harry for a reason, with her scarlet feather overlapping him, on other occasions such a curiosity might have been undesirable. DMOCR8. Moving on to the reason I think is the most compelling. The audience at the coronation was much more democratic. Representatives of aristocratic families mingled with politicians and their wives, businessmen, artists and honored figures and so on. Not all these people can afford luxurious tiaras or have family jewelry, and it would be wrong to emphasize this, because Charles is choosing the path that should make the monarchy more approachable and understandable to the people. It is the only way to maintain his position. On the one hand, it's a shame we didn't get to see the beautiful tiaras, the glittering jewels and the sumptuous ceremonial gowns. Instead, the ladies were invited to choose floral-themed headdresses to emphasize how much King Charles loves nature and cares about the environment. And he is also a great gardener and takes great pride in his gardens in Highgrove.